What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the FD Movie Podcast. This is part 2 of our Halloween podcast we started yesterday. Happy Halloween to everybody, if you care. I don't know. No, if you're going trick-or-treating or not, I don't know. So we left off with number 3. We ended up spending way more time on those first 3 than I expected. We ended up spending like about an hour on it. That was our first podcast, so figure we might as well get right into this and get going because we got a lot of movies to cover. Probably not going to have to cover as much time though because they get weaker and weaker as they go, and then they kind of bounce back a little bit. But after 3, which was a pretty well a flop commercially, we talked about how great it was, on its own, but just didn't have Michael Myers in it.
Right.
Irwin Yablin's the executive producer of the first 3. Or most of these movies, knew better. He thought it was a bad idea, so he says. But everybody wanted Michael Myers. By this time, it sit in hell for a little while. I don't even know what came about. It was several years, but it was 1988 when Halloween 4 came out, The Return of Michael Myers. Finally getting Michael Myers back. By this time, we already had at least 6, I think. 5 or 6 for sure. Maybe 7. Friday the 13th already?
Yeah, the
7th was already, right?
7 was 88.
Yeah, so 7. So we had 7. By 88, we would have had at least 3 Freddys, 3 or 4 Freddys. So we had a lot to catch up to, and this was the first time people wanted him back. And I think they come out swinging. I think it was great. First of all, the opening to that movie was great. I like that.
Yeah,
shows the Midwest looking setting anyway. It's it's the calm before the storm kind of thing. I really like that. You don't actually see Myers for the first few minutes. They don't even play the opening theme to Halloween for the first few minutes. Wheeling them out. Yeah. I don't know. I liked it. I liked the beginning. I liked the opening, not just the opening credits, but the opening scene with them wheeling them out. The security guard was creepy as shit. Yeah. It was something you'd see in a series like that. A typical slasher movie, I guess, but always got to be some kind of little fucking weirdo in those places. I thought the way he got out, I thought the van scene was awesome. Yeah. And I actually think they shot that differently beforehand. They went back and added it maybe later. But really? Yeah, because I think it was a little tamer beforehand, but they actually went and added the thumb into the forehead. That was a good death. Yeah. That was a really cool scene. And they don't really see what happened to the girl, and then you just find the aftermath later when found out he escaped. But you find out Laurie Strode is not in this one. She has died in the story. Apparently. And Jamie is her daughter. Yeah. Who has been left with another family. And I thought character development in this movie was actually really strong. Yeah. I think all the supporting characters there. I think Ellie Cornell's character, Rachel, was awesome. Kind of the girl next door, really sweet, wholesome character. Kind of like Laurie. Yeah. Thought she was awesome, played a really good stepsister kind of role. The parents that they chose were awesome for it. I don't know. It just seemed like everything fit really well. I think they captured everything they needed to coming back to the franchise.
Yeah. I really like the dynamic with the 2 sisters.
Yeah, I do too. That. Yeah.
And the sisters' friends. Well, I guess the one friend in this one. But.
Yeah, just the one. Yeah. But, they really... they did. They had a really good bond. They had a really good relationship. I like the 2 actresses and how they acted together. I think for a little girl at the time, Danielle Harris did awesome. Yeah. And playing this broken child who's went through a lot and is about to go through a lot more.
Yeah. And that scene where the kids are chasing her through the hallway is just terrible.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's awful. It makes you feel really bad for her.
That's how those little creeps are.
Yeah. Sometimes. I did think it was a little weird. Like, she didn't really know who Michael Myers was. Did she? This is the thing that I always confuse. And I've watched this movie a lot, but at the very beginning, she has this little nightmare where Michael Myers is in her room. Yeah. And this is the first time you see Myers with the mask in the movie. And this is before he had the mask. This is his dream. But the scene was awesome. The way he rose up from the ground behind the bed and the lightning flash revealed him. The mask is, but when they first revealed the mask, it was not very scary. It was not the same, but it was still a cool scene. It just made me wonder. Always made me wonder, like she know about him, or
I don't think so.
She just had a boogeyman dream, and that's what the boogeyman was. I guess I don't know, but maybe somebody else has a better fan theory than that out there for that. I don't know. Maybe they do, but still an awesome scene. Like I think like the majority of the way through this film, there was not a lot of bad.
No, I don't think so either.
Like it was a solid return, and it was a solid sequel.
Yep.
I like how they reintroduced Sam Loomis in this.
Yes, yeah, Dr. Loomis, yeah.
With the gas station scene, I thought that was pretty cool.
That was a cool shot. That shot that they showed, and I don't remember what they called it, but it's a special kind of shot where that basically nothing in the like the character comes to them, but then nothing else changes inside. Oh, I don't even remember what that was called, but they'd done that shot. I thought that was an amazing shot.
Yeah.
That was an awesome scene. And Loomis, you find out he's all scarred, and he's really a lot. 7 years did a toll on him.
Oh yeah.
On Donald Pleasence, you can tell, but just the Sam Loomis character, obviously too. You find out both of them survived the explosion. He survived the explosion. I don't know how you would continue the series at that point without bringing him back, though.
Yeah, I don't know how you
know what I mean?
Yeah, just for credibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. They really had to start this off with a bang. I think all the way through it was pretty solid. You cared for most of the characters. I guess maybe not all of them. I really liked the sheriff.
Yeah.
In this one,
I was shocked because he actually believed Loomis.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. He actually took this shit seriously.
Yeah,
and he believed. It didn't take much for him. That was pretty nice. There's a lot of scenes, mainly towards the end though, when it really picks up, like him sitting in the rocking chair and then killing her with the shotgun was a little bit much.
Yeah.
But the sitting in the rocking chair part was creepy. Yeah.
All I can say is cops do it by the book. Woo!
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Exactly. Exactly. But I think everything else in the house beyond that was incredible.
Yeah.
Like chasing them all the way up to the roof and the rooftop. And they actually had built another roof for that. So there was actually, in a lot of scenes, only like 3 feet off the ground or so many feet off the ground or whatever. Yeah, so she didn't have to. But there was other scenes where, it was great. Like they'd wet the roof down, and so they come close to falling off a few times. It was pretty crazy working on that. But it was a hell of a shooting scene. Shooting that scene was pretty crazy from what I understand. But that was an awesome scene though. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was well worth it.
Well, like how the heights thing. For one, but him chasing him up there, you just never seen anything like that before. Yeah. These people climbing up to the roof to get away from him, and then you got this long, fall down.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. I thought 4 was one of the. Oh man, I'd say. Well, definitely, it's in the top 5.
Yeah.
Halloween movies. For me, anyway. In my opinion. Definitely top. I would say the fourth one is number 4 for me.
Yeah, I'd say so too. I'd say so. Yeah.
And that's saying a lot because I think 4 is it's leaps and bounds ahead of what came after.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure.
4 they had a flop with 3, or a financial flop.
Mm-hmm.
And then it took them, 6 years, I think, to get another one out?
Yeah.
And then, they did everything right.
Yeah.
It was, everything about it was done.
I thought really good.
It was.
Well, and what I also like the you basically had the rednecks of town, the town drunks, the guy who owned the bar and ended up killing that dude in the bushes, which was crazy. But you basically had an angry mob of dudes out there hunting Myers, and I like that.
I love the stunt where he Especially the last guy he throws out of the truck. Oh my gosh, that looks like it hurt so bad.
Oh yeah. All those guys, including Earl or whatever his name was that drove, was all stuntmen. I'm pretty sure.
Really?
I'm pretty sure all of them were stuntmen. All the guys in the back were definitely stuntmen. But yeah, they knew how to take the fall. I guess I don't know how you even learn that. Like, how do you even learn that?
You just kind of do it.
Well, yeah, but how do you do it 2 or 3 or 4 times to learn it without dying?
Even if they're going 25 miles an hour down the road.
Oh man, that hurts so bad. That was a really, really cool scene. Yeah. Like all the way from the school on out, him coming in, and which was another weird thing too. They'd messed up, and I always thought it was out of place. I thought I could never explain it, and then it was finally explained. I think in a special feature, and I can't remember if it was a making of or the Horror Hallowed Grounds, or I can't remember exactly what it was, but they'd explained that there was an error in the mask because there was a guy who Michael Myers had grabbed Loomis and threw him into some glass in the school. You know, his hair was yellow, like it was like blonde hair.
Oh yeah,
and you're like, this is weird. Like, is this one of those kids again with the mask? Or, where does this come in? Why was Myers even there? Like, I don't understand what's going on. There's just that one little scene that always confused me for some reason. I think it's because of the hair, and it turns out it was Myers, I think. It was supposed to be Myers, but the hair was off. They gave him the wrong mask. Yeah. They were in a hurry or something. It was late, and they just threw the mask on, and no one ever caught it. I think that's what happened there. So it's kind of interesting. But that whole ending was amazing from the truck. Him, also they added it later, but the special effects, but that was an amazing, like him ripping the throat and pulling his throat. That was awesome. That was pretty gory though.
Yeah, it was.
Like really. Also them blowing him to hell at the end of the mine shaft was awesome. Yeah. I thought that was cool. Weird though, he went up and touched him, and then that was the first time you seen
the mark.
Which you didn't know was the mark of Thorn until the 6th one, but it's like I don't even know if they had any plans going forward with that.
They had, I was talking to somebody a while back. I don't think it was you, or I don't think it was you either. I don't know who it was, but we were talking about the Mark of Thorns, and I said that they had to have known what they were doing. They had to know that they were going to go somewhere with it,
right?
In the 4th one,
yeah. Why else would it be?
Why else would they put it there? You know what I mean? Like they had to. They had to have known they were going to do something. Yeah. But at the same time, it's not, watching 5 and 6, I was kind of like, they may not have known what the hell they were going to do. Because...
Well, no, I know they don't know exactly what they were going to do, but I just don't know.
Well, they screwed the friggin' pooch on that.
Yeah, I still don't know how they were going to tie it all together. And I mean, the thing about 4 was it brought it back. I don't know if it was a financial success the way they were hoping, but I know it was like critical success. Yeah. I know it was a critical success. And then of course that and of course the pressure of everything else, they hurried along for Halloween 5. Yeah. And then Halloween 5 come along a year later. I mean, a year to almost a day, I think, later. Danielle Harris said she spent her 11th and 12th birthdays on set, both on set. Yeah. Both years. 10 turned 11, 11 turned 12, I think is what it was. Something like that. So it was immediately rushed back out, and they got some Frenchman or some shit to direct this one.
Yeah, Dominique Othenen Gerard.
Yeah, it was something, and he was a kind of a weird cat. Yeah, he had some interesting shots. Yeah, but you could definitely see the difference in 4 and 5 and how they were shot and how they looked. Oh yeah, and I actually didn't mind 5. I thought it was a cool difference because there was not a lot of it wasn't. I'm trying to figure out how to put this. I think in 4 they brought back some of the blue lighting. I think they brought back some of that cleaner look.
Yeah, I really like the cinematography.
Yeah, it was a little cleaner look. In 5 it was dark and grittier. Like like they really played up the shadows in this. It was darker. They didn't have that lighting. They used, I don't know if it's a natural lighting or what, but it was dark. It was a lot darker of a movie. And as bad as The Mask was in 4, it got even worse in 5. Yeah. And I don't even know how that's fucking possible. But it is. And you said it the other day, and I thought it was hilarious. But it said it looked like a goldfish.
Yeah, he does.
It looks like a fucking goldfish.
Doofus-looking goldfish face. I hated it.
Yeah, it does. It's weird. It just the way the hair's set and everything else. This one, there wasn't a whole lot of complaints about 4 that I could picture. There's a couple things that, here and there. The ending, by the way, just real quick before we go completely on to 5. The ending was awesome. Not just them blown away, but her stabbing her mother, her stepmother.
Reaction.
Yeah, Loomis's reaction was awesome, and because you wondered, are they going to continue with a girl or with this little bitty girl?
Yeah.
Like, what is going on here? So that was awesome. But going into 5, they didn't do any of that.
No.
She's in a. I don't know, could you call it a mental institution or some kind of
kids?
Gifted?
I don't
for kids.
know. I don't know what it was supposed to be.
Some kind of weird ward. She's like all of a sudden a mute.
Yeah.
And she's got some kind of like telepathic link to Myers because she touched him or shared something. I don't know. It was weird. Yeah. Which is what they kind of tried to end with at the end of the first one. But it was the mute thing's what throws you off.
Yeah.
I think the mute thing's what really throws you off.
It might have been better off because the rest of the movie, when she does talk, she's just screaming.
Yeah,
doesn't really have a lot to say.
Yeah, she's stuttering or screaming, and so is, and she gets a little bit better, but you're right, she is screaming most of the time and crying, which is to be expected from a little girl, I guess, but not near as much as the first. Like in 4, it wasn't near as bad.
No. Yeah.
And then you had her little friend who was stuttering like crazy too. Good Lord.
I think 5 suffers from
Billy.
I can't remember her sister's name. Was it Ellie's her real name, right?
Ellie Cornell, and Rachel.
Yeah, Rachel. It kind of suffers from taking her out in like the first scenes. And
Yeah. And Ellie actually talked them out of killing her the way that they were going to. He'd stabbed her in the heart or chest with scissors and killed her. But he's actually going to stab her. She's going to shove the scissors down her throat.
Yeah. I seen something. Where
and she's like, this is Rachel. She's a wholesome family. She's a nice girl. You can't kill her like this. That's terrible. So she talked them into doing that. But I think a lot of it was I think it would have been much better had she at least lasted through most of the movie, if not just plain out survived.
Yeah.
Really.
So they paired her with
Tina.
With Tina, her friend, and it just wasn't the same.
It wasn't the same. It wasn't the same as Rachel, but a lot of people hated Tina. I actually love Tina.
Really?
I love Tina. One, I think Wendy Kaplan's amazing, hot. Like she's hot as shit. For some reason, I think she is. Anyway, she was
in that movie. She was
in that movie. She was hot. She was very obnoxious, but she was supposed to be.
Yeah.
But I thought she did a great job, and she was the good offset to Rachel's character.
Yeah.
I just wish that she would have made it a little bit longer. But so Tina kind of took the main role. But I thought Tina did great with Jamie. I don't think it was the same.
Yeah.
But I think she did great with her because she really loved that girl. You could tell she cared about the girl.
Yeah.
And so when she died, a lot of people cheered when she died. But I was upset about it. Like that was like, oh, that sucks, man. Like Jamie's got nobody.
Yeah.
Like literally nobody. Loomis in the movie had a really kind of part. He was just old and even in worse shape somehow a year later than he was before.
One of my highlights of the movie, though, is how he actually captures him at the end.
Yeah, the net and the beating. That was a good moment for sure. Yeah, everything else was kind of blah. But yeah, he was... Yeah, he that was cool. I like that. Him just beating him. He seemingly dies or has a heart attack or something at the end and falls on him. That's what it seemed like anyway. Some cool deaths in the movie. I like the fork or whatever it is in the guy's skull.
Yeah,
a fork. It's some kind of brake deal or something. I don't remember exactly what it was.
I don't know.
It's a different name. It's a different name, but it's a farming tool, of course. Yeah. But anyway, stabbing it right through his forehead was pretty awesome. Right after he scratched the car.
Yeah,
that was pretty awesome. Tina's death was pretty mild, which was okay for her. The sickle though, or the scythe, was pretty awesome. That was a pretty cool death for the other chick.
Yeah.
And the pitchfork. Other than that, wasn't. Oh, I tell you what. Another scene actually. We got to before we move on. We got to talk about one thing. Him in the car. as posing as the boyfriend, and he had the oh shit, what do you call it? The not a lumberjack, the berserker, I guess. Berserker mask, is that pretty much what it was? Yeah, it's something like that, but he had the mask on, and you just seen the close-ups. That was one thing I actually really liked about that whole scene, was the grip. Like, he's tightening his grip.
Yeah.
And then his eyes, and he just looked crazy at her when she was trying to kiss him and play with him. And she's like, yeah, that's weird. But anyway, like, she just got out, and then cops got to her beforehand, and he took off, which I didn't even hear him take off. He was just gone. But that was really cool. And then the other one was the Man in Black.
Yeah.
They tried to introduce this thing, which added even more of a confusing mess to the whole thing, because they just didn't have much direction at all. And you wanted to know what it was, but they never did anything with it until 6. And and
then you wish they had.
And I wish it was exactly. I don't know. The ending was awful. Busted him out of jail.
Yeah.
Went and killed the whole police force and busted him out. I don't know. That was silly. 6. I don't even know why that was even attempted.
Yeah.
I think we could all agree that that's the worst film.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. I think that's pretty unanimous here.
Yeah. I mean, there's not much to say about it. Paul Rudd's like one of his first roles, like his young role.
Yeah. Like, I think it may have been his first movie.
I don't remember if it was or not. I don't think it was probably his first big one.
He acts so weird in this film too.
Yeah,
like,
he does.
Just some of the looks.
Yeah.
And
well, he kind of did that when he was younger. In the younger roles, he's not. He wasn't known for his funny stuff back then as much as.
No, he wasn't.
Not really, not like he is now. Which I really like Paul Rudd, and I thought he did okay in the film. But he was a grown-up Tommy Doyle, which is not how I'd picture Tommy Doyle growing up and looking. But overly obsessed with the whole Myers thing and the Cult of Thorn, and he knew all this, and I don't know who came up with the Cult of Thorn thing, but my God, was it the dumbest fucking thing you could possibly think of. Now, the deaths in this movie were okay, a lot of them, but they were a lot more gruesome.
Yeah.
Squeezing the dude's head.
When he gets Jamie.
Yes. That was pretty brutal.
Yeah.
And that's actually why Danielle Harris didn't come back.
Really?
She's like what? Like, I'm not going to die that way. And they just wanted to get rid of her and pass it off. And I think she just pulled out for a couple different reasons. I think that might have been one of them. At least how she died, I think, was one of them. If I remember correctly. And it was pretty shitty.
Yeah.
And the other chick, and I can't remember her name now. And like I said,
Kara Strode.
Yeah, something like that. It's something like that. I think she's okay. She's an okay character.
She did okay for what she had to do.
For what she had to do, she's okay. Her and having the boy, and it was, like I said, it was just a lot. It was kind of a mess. And I like what you actually told me right after you watched it. You said, "Wow, this might have been one of the worst movies I've ever watched."
Yeah.
And you're right.
Yeah.
There's just not a lot going on there. But you said it tries too hard to be edgy.
Like 90s edgy.
90s edgy. Yeah,
from the
really.
First scene when they wheel Jamie in, and they've got the blue lighting, and they've got the camera turned at an angle, and it's like they're trying too hard.
They are trying too. Well, Scream came out the same year.
It was a victim of the time. Is what it was.
Scream came out the same year, and plus they just didn't have any plot to go off of.
Yeah.
And then I really think that the plot and all of it was bad even before what happened to Pleasance. And he died during filming of this, and they had to go in after some time and go back and reshoot a lot of stuff and end it, and it actually ended up ending worse.
Yeah.
With him just what was it? It just showed the outside of a building and him screaming. Like in the producer's cut that they just released, and then there's been some copies, some fan made copies floating around for quite a few years now of the original stuff, just in really poor quality, and it showed that Dr. Wynn, who was the Man in Black from 5, turns out, was evil the whole time, knew about the whole time. He was this Cult of Thorn leader, and he had passed the mark that he had the mark, and he'd passed the mark onto Donald Pleasance's character, onto Loomis. And it was your problem now. It's your thing. And then it showed him screaming at the end, and that was it, pretty much. Really terrible.
Yeah.
Really terrible. And the mark, like, given Michael Myers a reason to be this supernatural,
didn't need that.
undying entity, like that was something that Jason's already been doing, like in a way, you know, like we're already bringing him back in crazy ways. We don't need this out of something pure that's pure evil. You don't need this, and you're really giving him, you're like humanizing him more, like, or almost like you're victimizing him.
Yeah.
Like you know,
yeah.
You're
I never even thought of it like that.
Yeah, you're really
right.
victimizing Michael Myers.
Yeah, you're victimizing the evil guy.
Yeah, somebody who's got a literal, like a fucking straight up problem. He's an evil force, and you just made him human.
Yeah,
and you just made him even more human than he's ever been, and he's just a victim of the crazy old lady across the fucking street.
Yeah,
and and the rest of the dog. I don't know, just fucking weird. Just
it was
why? Totally
uncalled for.
Yeah, for sure.
Really, I mean, they kind of this is one of them. You know, in the last part of this, I said there was times when I was like thinking about giving up on Halloween.
Yeah,
this was one of them.
Oh yeah.
Watching this was one of them.
Yeah,
and
The Mask. What did you guys think of The Mask?
It was so.
I actually
it was better than 5.
I thought it was better than 5. I thought it was better than 4s.
Yeah.
It was a little bit better. I think it lost a little bit, but I think it was still better than 4 and 5s.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
We might as well get off of this one because I'm just don't have anything else to say.
Yeah,
it's so fucking terrible. But they finally, 2 years later, 1998, 20 years later, Jamie Lee Curtis thought it would be a good idea to get everybody together and come back. And this is one of my favorite films of the series.
Yeah. Oh, mine too.
Like one of the strongest outings in the series too. Laurie, who has Carrie Tate. Is that right? Carrie Tate. Does that sound right?
I know it's Tate.
It's Tate.
Yeah.
She has. Turns out she did not die. She had faked her death, moved out to California with her, and has a new son. And they pretty much disregard 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
Pretty much disregard all that nonsense. And she has changed her name, and he is found out that she is still alive and finds her records in Marion Chambers, her house. She had been keeping Dr. Loomis up until his death, and he had broken in and found all the files, ransacked her house, killed her at the beginning, and then found out and that's how he found out she was still alive, and she was living under another name. So that's how, that's where that started. So, and it's actually another cool setting. You said in the last part, actually, that there's like 3 of the scariest places you can put a scary movie in.
Yep.
Like basically have a setting, and that actually fits really well here because this is a school.
Yeah.
Hospital, school, and Midwest town, or out in the middle of nowhere. And that was another situation here that this I thought worked really well because you had a gated private school.
Yeah.
That you just really couldn't go anywhere.
No.
And I thought that was perfect.
Yeah, I don't like it being set in California.
I don't either.
And we've talked about that in other videos,
but being in a closed-in school,
at a closed-in school that helps a lot.
Yes.
But being in the school, I was telling you earlier that I thought H2O did a better job of living up to the first one.
Right.
But if you really think about it, like with the setting and everything, it really pays not homage. Well, it pays homage in a lot of ways, but it really lives up to the second one too. Like they do a lot of stuff from the first one. They do a lot of stuff from the second one, and they just kind of put it together and made a really badass movie.
Yeah, I love that she's tormented still.
Oh man,
this whole movie she's still suffering from the effects and this thinking that, especially around Halloween every year, like that, he's going to come back and he's going to find me one of these days. And she knew. I love the scene when she's in town during like a lunch break or whatever, and she gets in the car and Sandman comes on.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a pretty cool moment. It just scares her and she turns it off, or she's freaked out by it. It's unsettled by it.
Yeah.
She keeps seeing him.
I would be too.
I love all the scenes where she's hallucinating and seeing him everywhere.
Yeah.
Because it comes a really cool part towards the middle or end, like towards right before the third act, that where he's basically coming down the road, inside the compound or whatever you want to call it, inside the school grounds, and he's all in black. It's just shadows. There's those shadows, and she's just sitting there and she's staring and she's closing her eyes and opening them, and he's still walking. Close her eyes, open them, still walking, and at the end it's her boyfriend. Yeah. It's the other teacher who's a boyfriend, and I almost wonder if it wasn't though. Like I almost wondered that if it was him walking and then he disappears right before the boyfriend shows up. You know what I mean? Like I always wondered that. Like it was him, and
I never thought of it that way.
And he just kind of decided to break off for a minute when the boyfriend showed up. And it might have been, she might have just been hallucinating the whole time. Yeah. It's just weird for him to come from that. But whatever. A lot of really good scenes.
Yes.
In that movie. The scene, actually the death of the two friends, Josh Hartnett's two friends, that was a cool scene in the kitchen area.
Yeah.
From him, and then her death, his girlfriend's death, was gruesome, and not so much in a gory way, but in a really unsettling, shocking way, like a scary. It was scary.
Talking about the girl, the dumbwaiter comes down on her
leg. Yeah, her leg, and she's crawling, and she can't get away, and he's already down, and I'd made a comment in our Friday the 13th podcast that talked about the glass.
Yeah.
And she was screaming and crying and begging, and he's just stabbing her with this big piece of glass, and how just weird and scary that is. That's just unsettling. A big sharp piece of glass is a weird thing to get stabbed by, and you just imagine being killed by. So you've got a guy who comes over. You can't walk. You can't. You're fucked up. You can't go anywhere. You're crawling. He comes over and he places his foot on you, and then it just shows him and his face, and he's just stabbing in her back multiple times, and that really hit me too as a kid.
Yeah,
that was another one that hit me really hard. I'm like, that is fucked up.
And I really liked her
because you can imagine that.
Yeah,
she's in one of the better Crow sequels, if there is such a thing.
Yeah, she was in a lot of movies around that time, a lot of teen movies that.
Yeah.
I think most of them were comedies, though.
But talking about his face, I thought this is the best The Mask looked.
Yeah.
After 2.
After 2, I agree. And there was a lot. Actually, there was several different masks used in this version.
Yeah.
And some of them, and you can see them in the shots, they were terrible. Some of them really. And actually, one of the shots, at least in one of the older scenes the footage that they'd shot, he actually was wearing Halloween 6 mask. The mask from Halloween 6, yeah. Mm. They'd used that a couple times. I think that was the most used, like the most variety of used masks in any Halloween movie, I want to say. I think they went back and finally reshot. I think there was some kind of issue with that, and then they allowed them to get another one to come back in. I can't remember now, but I know there were some issues with that too. It seems like there's always issues. I don't know how there's. That's one thing that's always confused me about these series, and I'm not working on them, but how do you have problems with one of the main things going into a movie like that?
Yeah.
Like, literally, Michael Myers is the mask. Yeah. That mask is Michael Myers. How have you had this much trouble? Is it a rights thing? Like a Captain Kirk rights thing? Is it a William Shatner rights thing?
Well, that's kind of what I wondered.
I don't think it can be, though. Can it?
Or is it a different director every time?
Yeah, who has a spin on it? Yeah, has his own idea of what it is. Or doesn't give a fuck. I don't know, but I just don't understand why The Mask was such a hard thing for people to get down over those years. That's one thing that's always plagued me. This is one of my favorite slasher movie series. I love all the movies for the most part. And that's always one thing that's bothered me the most about Mask up until that point, between 4 and 6, which is just 3 movies, but still.
Yeah, that's a long time, though.
Yeah. One of them was a very good movie that would have been even better for me had The Mask been better, and that was 4.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot of really good things about. I think Josh Hartnett's first role was that one, and he did a good job.
Definitely his first big one. I don't know about his first one, but it was definitely his biggest.
Michelle Williams, is that her name? The girlfriend from Dawson's Creek.
I think it
was Michelle Williams. I think it was. So. I'm trying to think of her last name, but I think it's Michelle Williams.
I don't know how you guys felt, but I thought LL Cool J's character was really funny.
Yeah, actually,
I actually liked his character.
Yeah, for comedy relief, he did very good.
Yeah,
He seemed like he's always doing something like that. I think Deep Blue Sea was the same way with him.
Yeah.
Something goofy, I think. But I liked it. I liked his. I liked everybody's role.
Yeah, I did too.
In this movie. And Janet Leigh makes a little cameo as her secretary or another teacher or whatever, and that was really cool.
Yeah.
Gives her a little scare.
Yeah. They should have had him kill her in a shower.
Yeah, that'd been awesome.
is what
An old lady in the shower and screaming. She's probably still got the pipes, don't she?
Yeah. Oh, I guarantee she did.
Yeah, the time. When did she die?
Oh, I don't know.
I'm sure she has now.
I don't know. I just assumed that
it's already been 20 years since the last one.
If not, she'd be like 150.
No, I don't know. She has to. I can't remember. Anyway,
I don't know.
Can you believe next year it'll be H4O for real though?
No, I can't.
Like that's crazy. 20 years since Halloween H2O.
Yeah,
it's insane.
Yeah, you're getting old.
Yeah, I am. By the day.
By the minute.
By the minute. I'm dying.
Yeah.
No, H2O was one of the strongest sequels. Definitely next to 2 is the strongest.
Yeah.
You might disagree, but
no, it's up there.
It's definitely up there.
Yeah.
I know you like 4 a lot, but
I'd go 1, 2, H2O, 4.
Yeah, 1, 2, H2O, 4. That's how I would do it. I would say so. It's just a really strong outing.
After 1, really though, it's all just.
And the ending was really strong. I mean. I mean, and if they were going to end the series, which I know it's probably hard to end something like that, but the ending was perfect.
Yeah, it was.
It was intense. The whole way through the fight was intense. Then she finally gets him out there, and he gets pinned, and she cuts his head off, and you could see the instant relief on her face, like it's over, and I've overcome this, and you see this tormented person. Who, when he finally showed up, and she has a son to protect, and it just snaps, and she's
done.
There's a minute when she's done being the victim.
Yeah, she's finally ready to just overcome all this and just be done. And then you see that play out in the next one. And now Resurrection, I'm going to say it. I liked it, and I know you hated it.
Oh, I liked it.
Absolutely hated it. And there's definitely parts that it was bad, but. She was still really strong in that one coming back. And, and the way they played it off, him still being alive, was interesting. I thought that was kind of weird. It turns out he had switched.
I think it was a reach.
It was a reach.
For sure.
It was a reach. For somebody like Myers to pull on an Agent 47 and take the guy's clothes and walk out of there. And it was a reach. And he crushed his larynx so he couldn't talk, and he was reaching and there's so much more that guy could have done. To get her attention and just take the mask off for one thing.
That takes away the end of H2O for me, because his vacant look when he's reaching for her.
Yeah. Right.
Get
it wasn't help. It wasn't help. Yeah.
Yeah. It takes away from that when you think about it.
Yeah. And then he does this thing at the end when she's got him strung up where he's checking his trying to get his mask off like he knew.
Yeah.
Like he was trying to fool her. And then she's like, I just got to be sure. It was a reach, like you said. Yeah. And I know that practically ruined the whole movie for you, killing her.
Oh yeah, it absolutely was. The first 5 minutes? Yeah. The first 5 minutes absolutely fucking ruined it for me. I mean, I was mad. I was emotionally invested in the next one. Yeah. Because I loved H2O so much. Right. I was kind of like my grandma with 3. I was emotionally invested in these 2 movies. After loving H2O, going to this one and having it ruined in the first 5 minutes. Like, I was ready to walk out.
Other than
and I've never walked out of it.
Other than her death, I actually thought it was a strong opening. There's some shots in there I thought was great. Him sitting out on the yard was awesome, and her looking at him at the yard. The whole scene leading up to him killing those guards and coming through, I thought was pretty cool. I liked it. I thought it was great. Yeah. There's actually a scene where the other guy with the clown mask, the other crazy guy, had wandered out, and one of the security guards found him and walked him back. And as they walked back in, Michael was in like kind of the trees and some shadows, and it was kind of a slow motion shot. It's kind of weird, but at the same time it was really cool because the way that mask looked in those shadows looked amazing. Yeah. And it was just a creepy walk through the shadows. I thought that was a great scene. I thought that was a great shot. There's a lot of, and the mask was really good in this one.
Yeah, it was.
It was really good. I mean, it was different, but it was good. Especially, I think H2O's was a little bit better, personally, because I think it was a little bit more simple.
Yeah.
This was definitely more. I was exaggerated the right word. It's different. It's not crazy, but it's definitely different. I think in a lot of scenes in the movie, it looked really good. A lot of the shadowy shots, like in the house, really looked good. And there's other scenes where it really exposed it for something. But the thing I think Resurrection had, like at the time, was okay for me. Because a lot of scary movies were doing this, it wasn't that much different or much worse than anything else going on at the time. The reality thing. But now, looking back, it's not as good.
No,
it's not as good. They had to throw Busta Rhymes in there. They had to throw Tyra Banks in there and get those people in. I don't know. Like Tyra Banks was fine. I think she's an annoying character in that movie.
She's an annoying person.
Well, she's overly happy. Sometimes, but
she's this great looking thing, and they have her eating in every single scene.
I know that's interesting too. Yeah, that's weird. I don't mind her as much as I did Busta.
Oh my god!
But we and Andrew have talked about this, and we agree. We don't hate Busta near as bad as you do.
No.
Like as bad as he was, there's some scenes I thought was pretty funny. I thought it was a little bit stereotypical though for the black guy to like karate movies.
To like Kung Fu. It's very stereotypical.
Like, it's pretty stereotypical for that. But, I mean, they do, but at least some of them do.
Yeah.
I guess.
I love Kung Fu movies, too.
Yeah, exactly. Well, how do you not?
I don't know if it's a rap thing or what, but I thought he was acting way too hard.
Like, straight up.
Because he's never acted before. Yeah. They just threw him into this fucking movie and said, hey, we're going to let you fucking kick Michael Myers out of a window.
Yeah.
We're going to let you go, whoa! Get the fuck out of here. That right there. Oh my god, man.
I gotta give him props about the house though, the Myers house, because it actually looked good.
Yeah,
like in 5 and stuff, it looked terrible.
Yeah,
it wasn't even. It didn't even resemble any of it. Like it just looked terrible. So I have to give him that. It looked really good. Everything else was just really subpar. Like some of the deaths were good.
Some of the deaths were pretty good.
Some of the
I'll
deaths
give him that.
There's a couple deaths that were weak. When he come out and sliced the girl's head off with a knife, and it rolled down the stairs, it was kind of a funny moment. But it wasn't any worse than anything you'd seen in another movie. But but it was like, all right, whatever. Actually, one of the better parts with Busta Rhymes in it, and it is possible, was when he actually came face to face with Myers in another Myers costume.
He's talking him down.
Like this, he talks about it, and Myers leaves. Like, all right, I'll get you later.
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell? Be gone. I'm doing the Michael Myers thing. What the fuck are you talking about? He thought it was the camera guy. He's been missing the whole time.
Yeah.
He's like, man, I told you I was fucking doing this. He said, get out of here. And he leaves. And I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
That was a good moment. As goofy as it was.
Yeah.
But you have to have some kind of those moments. I mean, Jason X was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, you have to have something. But I think it was definitely like 6. It was a product of its time.
That's what I was just about to say.
Yeah, it's a product of its time.
It's a victim of its own.
It's a victim of its time. Even though it's better than 6.
Yeah.
It definitely fell short.
I'll tell you what.
After H2O, after as strong as H2O was.
I will recognize that it's better than 6.
Mm-hmm.
But I would rather watch 6 than this one.
Oh,
really?
I would.
Really?
I shit you not. I hate it.
I'm not saying I won't ever watch 6 again. I'll watch 6 again, but I won't.
I hate this movie with a passion.
Really?
Yes. I absolutely
despise it. It scarred him so much.
I'm telling you, I have never, ever, ever walked out of a theater, and if I had not taken someone else with me and paid for 2 tickets, I would have.
Yeah. Have you tried to watch it lately?
No.
You haven't tried to watch it since?
No. I have watched it once.
Oh, you have watched it? Okay.
Just once.
Yeah.
And I
can't agree.
It was hard for me to do.
I can watch them because I can watch every one of them again because I used to do a marathon, so I can watch. But 6 is rough.
I like it better than 5 or 6 probably.
Oh
really?
Yeah. Well,
5 is pretty terrible. 5's pretty terrible.
Yeah.
But
the thing about 5 is it feels different, and I think
I do like that it picked up from, like, you know, and I always say that
it's like a year later, but it was still it was a continuation of what was before, and I like Tina, and Rachel was back even though she got killed. Jamie was back even though she was a mute. I think there was qualities that I can't really make excuses for. I can't really make cases for this movie very well.
Right.
But I just have my feelings about it. Like yeah. I just have things that no matter what I'm gonna like about 5, and I think that's why I like it. I can't help but like it. But I think Resurrection's probably better than 5. It all but maybe small amounts.
Yeah.
I think it's better. I don't know. They're pretty close to me.
Yeah.
6 was just fucking terrible.
Yeah, 6 was terrible.
Then after that, which was kind of a weak ending, you know, that we've been getting burned is kind of cheesy, but after that, we didn't have Myers for another 5 years. Resurrection came out in 2002. This time, though, it was a fucking remake. And I wanted to be really excited about this.
Nope.
But I didn't know how to feel because it was Rob Zombie.
Yeah.
And I call this kind of the bastard movies of the series, too, because they're their own things, and they're... Even though they have something to do with Michael Myers, they're just...
Yeah.
One's a remake and the other one's fucking terrible.
Yeah.
And I really mean it. It's fucking terrible. Yeah. I think that it could be almost worse than 6.
Really?
Because at least 6, no matter how stupid it fucking was, it had some kind of plot. Yeah. It had something to go off. It was terrible and it was messed up. And, you know, with Pleasant's passing, it was messed up even more. But H2, I don't even know what the fuck H2 is about. Like, I watched it, and it was terrible.
I'm going to be perfectly honest.
Daniel Harris died. Like, it was awful.
I never watched the second one.
Really?
No.
Yeah, and I haven't watched either one of them.
Yeah.
I figure he's a music artist, and then there's 2 of his songs I like. So what are the chances of me liking one of his movies?
Well, I mean, I like it. I like his music, all right. Or, well, I used to anyway when I was a kid.
Older music was all right. And House of 1,000 Corpses was interesting.
But he tries to make all of his movies
the same
as House of 1,000 Corpses.
Right.
You know, The Devil's Rejects was all right.
Yeah, it's a good sequel to House of 1,000 Corpses. It's different. Yeah. It was a different altogether, though, kind of sequel.
It was different. It was
a different feeling.
It was an all right movie.
Yeah.
But man, he took an existing series that was overall has been really great.
Yeah,
over the years.
Yeah, and it's kind of like how I just put it a while ago. You really can't put it into words very well. Like, you can't understand why you like it in a lot of because there's a lot of cases you can't make for some of the shit that's been going on. But it's the same way you feel about Friday the 13th. I'm sure there's a lot of things about that series that are just fucking bad.
Yeah.
But you love them, and I love them.
Yeah,
and that's the way I feel about Halloween.
Well,
I will love them no matter what.
For every bad thing in Halloween, there's 2 things that are good.
Yeah, or more.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, it's been a very good franchise.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes.
Overall.
Oh sure.
You know, there's several stinkers in there.
Sure.
But everything. There was no reason to remake. No reason to remake the original.
I don't think so.
None. I don't think there was any whatsoever.
Yeah.
The original still holds up today. If you show a kid, 13 or under, the first Halloween, they're going to be scared.
Yeah.
The only difference is
unless they've already watched all kinds of shit beforehand.
Yeah. Most kids under 13 haven't watched. I would hope not.
Oh, you'll be surprised.
I'm sure
you'll be surprised.
But you show some older kids Halloween, and they're it's not going to affect them any.
No, I think they'll appreciate it,
but
for what it is.
I think
but I don't think they'll find it scary, which it's hard to at this point.
But
sometimes.
But there was I still don't think there was any reason to remake.
No, I don't
Halloween.
think so either. There are some things that I liked about it. It was more of a focus on Michael and his story, and followed him instead of Laurie. I thought that was okay. The only reason I think it's okay now, or was okay then, because we already had the original.
Yeah.
We already knew by then that his story's been so fucking messed up that, explaining why the kid's all messed up in the head, and didn't really matter.
No.
It didn't matter, so it was okay. It was an interesting take. You find this little boy who was a decent little boy, I guess, and then slowly, maybe he wasn't always perfect. He started off like most serial killers do. He's killing little rats and shit and doing things with them in his room or the bathroom.
Yeah.
Just a little weirdo, but he got picked on by a bully. You almost sympathize for him even more, but he just showed his descent into absolute darkness, and then you got to see that in the and after it happened, he was kind of back to the same old happy kid, and then you go through the whole motion with him in the hospital, and you see his outbursts, and it just gets worse and worse, and then it just all of a sudden it just jumps to. I say it all of a sudden jumps, but it's been a little while since I've seen it, but then it jumps to several years later, and he's grown up Michael again.
Yeah, and
it's played by Tyler Mane this time, which I like Tyler Mane, but my problem with that is this is a typical Rob Zombie type move, or somebody like that kind of move where you didn't make this man. He's not a man. He's a fucking freak.
No, yeah.
Like Rob Zombie's or Tyler Mane is 7 foot fucking tall.
That's one of the big problems I had with the.
Like, I'm not saying you have to be Dick Warlock short, but like Dick Castle, like a 6'1", 6'2" kind of guy is perfectly fine.
He's just a regular guy.
Regular guy, exactly.
He's not a monster.
No, he still should have.
He wasn't supposed to be, but Rob Zombie made him
human trait. But they really had a weird thing with Michael in this one, and I think there were some decent parts to it. But Malcolm McDowell did okay.
Didn't Danielle Harris return in like a
different role? She was Annie.
Yeah.
She was Annie, and she actually didn't die. And I'll just spoil it for you because I know you're not going to watch it.
Right.
But she didn't die in the first one. I was really worried. I'm like, oh shit, and Annie, she's playing Annie, and Annie fucking dies.
Yeah.
Didn't die until the second one, and then he fucking brutally kills her in the second one. It's like, God damn it, are you serious? Like, why kill her now? Why? But why even make two? Why? I'm so glad. And we're just going to go ahead and move on because there's not much for me. If you haven't seen it,
there was something that I read about it. Doesn't Dr. Loomis use them for like ulterior motives, for like financial gain or something?
I don't really. He has a book, and he's promoting the book. He's definitely more. He's not the same Dr. Loomis.
No.
Yeah.
He's definitely more of a. He's gained a lot from this, and he's not as. I mean, he still helps, but he's not the same doctor. He's not the same persistent, nervous, scared. He's nervous, scared, kind of scaredy cat, I guess, but he's just not the same. He's not the same kind of character as the original Dr. Loomis was. Dr. Loomis was so much more involved, and I just don't feel like it really has. It has that feeling that he was in it for the job, and I don't know,
because he was kind of the heart and the anchor of those first.
Well, and that's the thing, and maybe they changed it because Pleasance was such a big character.
Yeah, it'd be hard to step into his shoes,
and maybe they wanted to change it up. But I don't remember exactly. I'll be honest, because I haven't watched it in a while. But I'd have to go back and watch it again. But yeah, I think you're right. I don't think there was anything remotely gratifying about that character for me. I know that looking back, it was everybody had an equal role except for Myers, and Myers had the top dog role in that. It was more about him. It was more about why he was the way he was, and just getting down to the nitty gritty, going through the remake motions. It was pretty tame for a zombie movie, but it still had its moments. I think it was okay, but H2 was awful. And then fast forward to now, they just announced a few weeks back that Jamie Lee Curtis will actually be returning to the series to do the next one.
H4O,
which we're calling H4O. I don't know if they're calling it that.
I don't know what they're going to call
it. Are they retconning Resurrection?
They are retconning they're actually retconning. From what I understand, they're retconning everything, even H2O. They are
really
that. Well, Danny McBride is actually co-writing this,
which is weird,
really
surprising.
But they're actually saying that this is going to be a much more humanized Michael Myers again. Like, he's not going to be supernatural.
Awesome.
And they're also saying that this is pretty much going to be after 2. Now, at first, when they'd said that a long time ago, and Carpenter actually said he's coming back. He was going to come back and maybe do the score or something. Yeah. He wanted to do the score. And now they've got him on as like an executive producer or some kind of thing. So I don't know what Carpenter's exact role is going to be, but I know it's going to be interesting. Yeah. Let's just hope that crazy bastard can stay alive for another year to get this done.
Yeah, hope so.
But
got him some marijuana money.
Yeah, we get some weed and stay alive, John. They didn't until they announced the Jamie Lee Curtis thing. Though I was wondering how they were going to do it because it was supposed to be a direct sequel to 2, and they were going to retcon everything else. Well, I figured, they're going to pick up right after. They're going to pick up maybe 1980, 1981, 1980 something, and still have a 80s era, which I think would have fit really nice because it was before the cell phone era. It was before all that. I think we would have been a lot better off. But now that she's come back, I don't know. They haven't really explained much about it, but I wonder. They kind of alluded to her being older. I mean, obviously you have to. If Jamie's back,
they'd have to.
I figured they would just find another actress and we'd be.
She's still pretty young looking. I mean,
she's good looking for her age.
I mean, if they dye her hair, all they'd have to do is dye her hair.
I mean,
she looks young for her age.
Oh, sure,
like
I think
way young.
I think she'll look good, and I think she'll be good in it. But I don't think, obviously, they're not going to do it in the 80s. I think they're going to do it now. Yeah. I think this is going to be literally 40 years later or something close to that. But they've got to be careful in consideration. I mean, you got to think she's 50. If she's 58 or 57, then Myers will be 64, 63 or something, whatever. Whatever. Yeah. Well, it's only like 4 years difference, but still,
it'll be 60.
Like you're 60 some year old Myers, and it's like I mean, I know he's evil, but we got. I don't know. I just hope they choose the right thing.
Might slip a hip or
but maybe it won't matter at this point. Maybe not. It don't make a shit. They got her back. They got Carpenter back. It'll be huge. Yeah. And if they can get Carpenter back, it'd be nice because it'd be something that they couldn't do in H2O.
Yeah,
because he didn't want to come back.
Yep.
And she wanted to get him back, and that was something. I think that'd been awesome. Just don't bring Rick Rosenthal back in.
Yeah.
Or anybody else for that matter. Don't bring that fucking crazy guy from 5.
Yeah.
But
the French dude.
I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to see more. We'll definitely keep tabs on that. Before we wrap it up, we've pretty much explained all of our favorite movies already. Mine being 1, 2, H2O, and 4.
Yeah, that's also mine.
Yeah, I'd have to throw 3 in probably right after.
Yeah, me too.
I'd have to probably say 3 right after.
Yeah.
And then you kind of go into like the 5 Resurrections tied, and then 6 is terrible. And I will make mention, I don't know how to rank Zombies. I think Zombies is higher on the list. His first one, but it was an okay remake.
I would say don't even put him in.
Maybe, but if I did, Zombies H2 would be the last.
Yeah,
because I think Zombies is the worst.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah,
I knew it was going to get worse, so I didn't even bother. And that's saying a lot because I've watched every single one of them.
Yeah,
like that's a lot of movies to watch over the years and to be a fan of all this time and know that something is going to be so bad that you just don't even go watch it.
Yeah,
like that's saying a lot.
Yeah, I think I was pretty excited to watch it, but
I don't know.
It just didn't work out.
He takes things too far for me.
Does.
I don't like the. Which, I mean, because we've talked about it a million times. I don't like new horror movies. I think they're just terrible. I mean, they always have.
There's exceptions. There's a few.
There are a few exceptions, but most of them I don't even like because they're too spooky for me. You know what I'm saying?
Well, The Conjuring was an amazing movie.
Yeah, but I can't watch that.
The Conjuring was a great.
Can't do it.
Like a more Insidious 1 and 2. Conjuring 1 and 2 are 2 of the best, in my opinion, horror movies in the last 5 years.
I liked the first Conjuring. I thought the second one, he looked like Marilyn Manson, the ghost.
Yeah.
Too much to be scared.
Yeah, I mean, the 2 was much weaker compared to 1.
Should have been singing The Beautiful People.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, no, those are definitely the 2 top, franchises, I should say, for me now.
I don't like
Annabelle's okay.
I don't like ghost stuff. I don't like
if they're done this way, I do. Did you watch Insidious?
I don't like possessions.
Oh man, you got to see Insidious for real. Watch Insidious.
I'm more of a creature feature kind of guy. You know, I like the old school.
I just like good old fashioned slasher.
Bringing some of those back.
Yeah.
Universal, so that'll be interesting.
Oh, and I love those. Yeah. I'm really excited about the dark universe that they're doing.
Yeah.
I think, you know, they started off slow. They started off bad with the Mummy, but it was still promising. It wasn't all bad, even though people say that it is. There's a lot there that they can do with it, and I'm hoping that they can get around to doing it good.
Yeah. Before we wrap this up, what's your guys' favorite kills from the series, and what's your least favorite?
Ooh,
you can think of a couple.
My favorite kill, I know it's tame and probably not as good as your guys's, but my favorite kill is the nurse in 2 with the scalpel.
Scalpel lifting up. That's a good
lifting
one.
her up and their shoes falling off. That's my favorite one.
Yeah,
it's tame, but
what about the worst one?
Oh man, I really hate when he dunks the other nurse in the hot tub.
Mm-hmm. Is that just because of the boobies?
Man, how could you kill a naked girl?
I know what you're saying.
Who just wants to help people.
I know.
You know what I mean?
She was just.
You know what I mean? Like
she was even doing the right thing. You
exactly.
know? Like this had this stigma for a long time, and they kind of sit and scream. And John Carpenter never meant this, but like the virgins live.
Yeah.
Obviously, she probably wasn't a virgin, but you know, like she didn't. She just said, "Sorry, bud, I got to get back on the floor."
Yep.
She was trying to do the right thing.
Yeah.
And you still killed her.
Michael fucking killed
just because her titties were out.
Yeah. How could you do that?
Why you got to be like that, Mike?
Even the most evil person in the world. How could you do that?
I don't understand it.
I don't understand. Boobs are good.
Yeah, exactly. Boobs are.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. What about you? You got a favorite or at least favorite?
Favorite, maybe Bob from the first movie. How he puts him up on the wall and kind of cocks his head.
Oh, yeah.
Very cool, iconic.
Yeah.
Least favorite, probably when he kills the cute girl from H2O. With the glass.
The one. Oh,
it was sad. It was too savage. It was too savage.
Well, like I said, you could feel every knife wound in yourself, like somebody pinning you down and stabbing you. And she's so little and just ramming that big ass. And that's one thing that like scares me more than big ass sharp things.
Yeah,
like that's just scary. Like that's fucking freak. Because being stabbed has got to be like one of the worst things.
Yeah,
like just it's so personal and it's so and.
When
he
got Rachel too, I didn't care for that one.
I didn't. Yeah, that'd have to be one of my. Well, I'd say Tina and Rachel both dying, and those were pretty bad. I can't really. I think one of the worst deaths for me, because I hated it, was the stupid fucking scene in 6 where he killed the dad.
Yeah.
He like shocked him, and he like exploded or whatever.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Yeah, that was pretty fucking stupid.
Yeah, stupid. One of the worst for me as far as sympathy, I'd have to say Rachel or that girl from H2O.
Yeah.
Tina I hated too, but
Rachel shouldn't have died.
I know, I don't
really
think so.
I mean, at least not till the very end, you know.
I'd have to say one of my favorite kills is PJ Souls.
Really?
In the first one, just because it was so hilarious, and again boobies.
Yeah.
But it was so. How do you kill somebody with boobies, right?
Exactly.
What you see.
Yeah, but yeah. Don't I get your ghost, Bob? I think the telephone cord thing was just classic, and I also like the Bob kill too. That was a good one. And. I don't know, but PJ Souls acting in that, her gasping, she just got in there, and that she's really known for that right now, like nowadays, for her last little overacting scene.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty good. And another one of my favorite scenes was from my kills, was when he got Nurse Jill, or whatever her name was, the younger one with the long hair, in Dr. Mixter's office. She had rolled the chair around, and he had the needle or whatever in his eye. And then he come in behind, and one of those scenes from the first one where the mask was exposed.
Yeah.
Well, this was a different kind of lighting, but you could see his mask exposed again behind her, and then he grabs her, puts his hand over her mouth, and then shoves the syringe in her temple.
Yeah,
that was another good kill. I thought it was kind of weird, but I liked it. I thought that was pretty cool. A lot of good moments. Nothing as creative as Friday the 13th, but some is a few just as brutal.
Yeah.
Just as but yeah. Anything you guys gonna add to anything before we wrap it up? Any movies?
I don't think I got
something
anything.
you missed? No.
I think I said everything I wanted to.
Say there's a lot. There's just a lot. Like when you do stuff like this, you just miss shit. I'm gonna think of something later. I'm sure that I wanted to say.
Probably
for all you out there, all you weirdos that like 3, I'm with you.
yeah. I would say it took me years, but I love that one. Yeah, there's definitely a good following for that now. So, anyways, guys, this has been awesome. One of my favorite franchises. I want to thank Andrew for joining us again, and we'll I don't know. We'll be back next week. I don't know what we're gonna do yet. I think we're gonna do Alien. Actually, we're gonna do Alien next week maybe, and we've also got Jurassic Park series coming up here soon too. So keep on the lookout for that. As always, we appreciate you listening to us, and we'll see you next week.
See you.
See ya.